6-7 KCAL rocks. Gosh, we are getting close. That's why we got our guy, Pep. Let's talk some sports. Pep, what's going on?
Yes, Patrick, we're getting very close to the start of the NFL regular season, and we are all on quarterback watch right now. All these quarterback starting positions, backup positions, all these things in play right now during the preseason. So I'll start with the Rams right now. Of course, we saw Stetson Bennett the previous week. Not sharp 4 interceptions, but led him back to a victory. Well, this weekend against the Chargers in the Battle of L.A., Stetson Bennett again started and played the whole game, man. He is the Rams preseason quarterback right now. And the Rams did win 13-9 with a little late game heroics again from Stetson Bennett to pull out that win. So I don't know. I think he's going to be on the roster for a little bit, especially because they don't know exactly what Jimmy G's status is going to look like. So Stetson Bennett getting his chance to go out there and prove all the maybe the doubters wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we know you need a quality backup, and Sean McVay clearly sees something, maybe even a little of himself in this kid. There's something about him, and I think we're kind of seeing that, at least, hey, if something does happen to Stafford, he's an older dude. At least you got something, dude. I like it.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard to gauge, too, in the preseason. Stetson Bennett's out there with a bunch of guys on offense who aren't going to make the team, or they're right there on the bubble, so it's really hard to gauge, like, what would he be doing with the number one offense with Nakua and Kupp, and all those guys? What would they be doing against a number one defense? So it's hard to gauge, but he's had enough moments where you think, okay, if the game's on the line, if he keeps them close enough in the fourth quarter, he'll give the Rams a chance to win.
You're really right. It is hard to gauge because on one hand, it's not the starters. On the other hand, these guys are kind of playing for their lives. So they are playing hard. It is rough. You need to see them in a real game. So I think it does actually show something. But you're right. They're not the number ones. So it needs to be gauged a little bit.
Yeah, he has shown enough to maybe keep around and see what he could do really in a live regular season game against another starting defense. So
definitely
the Stetson Bennett era continues with the Rams. Now we go to the Raiders and more quarterback news. I'm telling you, Patrick, there's tons of stuff going on with QBs right now on this Monday morning across the NFL. The Raiders announcing on Sunday, even though they lost to the Dallas Cowboys 27-12 this weekend, but they announced on Sunday, Antonio Pierce, the head coach, saying Gardner Minshew, the pride of Washington State, Patrick, will be the starting quarterback for the Silver and Black coming up.
I know a lot of people don't believe in him, and of course I do. My goodness. It's kind of like the late, great Mike Leach says, hey, do you want to go be a backup at Alabama, or do you want to come lead the country in passing?
Right, right, and that's what Washington State. When Mike Leach was there in that aerial attack, Gardner Minshew was a big reason why he became an NFL guy. Right, had a chance in the NFL because of Mike Leach and the offense they produced at Wazoo. But Gardner Minshew, quietly has won everywhere he's been, and Aiden O'Connell, who took over for Jimmy G at the end of last season, he was okay. Is he a franchise quarterback? I think that's still to be determined. But he was okay. But they needed to bring someone else to push him or take the starting job for him. And that's exactly what happened. Gardner Minshew took the starting job.
Minshew Mania in Vegas, a match made in heaven. And let's not forget, Devontae Adams had directional control over the documentary that came out. And it was Jimmy G that he was saying, I need to get out of here before this guy kills me.
Yeah, no, you're right. He flat out said that, and that's exactly what happened. Jimmy G is not in the Silver and Black anymore. They booted him, but they had to find a solution at quarterback. And when they looked across the league this offseason, there was Gardner Minshew, and like I mentioned, he's been several places. And when he gets a chance to play, he's won. Indianapolis, where else was he? Jacksonville, I think he was. So exactly. He's won. So Silver and Black fans across the IE, Gardner Minshew's your guy going into the season at quarterback.
Get behind him.
Yeah, he's a fun guy too. He's very interesting, fun, and charismatic. All right, listen, there's more quarterback news. There's a couple teams that we have no idea who's going to start at quarterback. Let's start with the Denver Broncos because they're right here in the AFC West. Big win over the weekend against the Packers on Sunday evening, 27-12. And Bo Nix, the pride of the Oregon Ducks, came in and led them down to a touchdown, led them on another scoring drive, which resulted in a field goal. So Patrick, when you look at his whole body of work, he's had 9 drives, 9 possessions, and the Denver Broncos have scored on 8 of those 9 drives. So right now, even though Sean Payton, the head coach of the Broncos, has not said who his starting quarterback would be, all signs point to Bo Nix over Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson.
He hasn't said anything yet, but I did see him in an interview, and he sure likes Bo Nix. Yeah. And I think it's clear. Bo Nix is the guy in Denver.
Yeah, because, I mean, Jarrett Stidham, he had a flash of like, oh, he's kind of good with the Las Vegas Raiders. And then Zach Wilson, we know how that blew up with the New York Jets. So it's not like either guy came in thinking they were, the starting job was theirs to lose. I think Bo Nix being drafted so high, and I mean, he's not your typical rookie, man. That guy played, like 6 years in college football? He's married. Like, he's not your typical NFL rookie, and he has proven here in the preseason that he can get the team down the field and put it in the end zone, or at least come away with some points on the board.
He's the guy. We better look out for him in the AFC West.
Yeah, so Bronco fans, you're getting closer. I think it's going to be Bo Nix. And the other NFL team that we have no idea what's going on at quarterback is the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got Russell Wilson. That's your boy, Patrick. I know he came in there. I thought naturally he was the starter, right? Russell Wilson would be the guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But they also brought in Justin Fields from the Chicago Bears to maybe push him a little bit, maybe be the backup quarterback. We even heard they might use Justin Fields as maybe returning kicks or maybe a little gadget guy like Taysom Hill with the New Orleans Saints. But right now, it sounds like, Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like right now, neither guy wants to have some separation and be the QB1, to be that starting quarterback, because they have both mightily struggled here in the preseason.
I think part of the problem is the offensive line is terrible, and Russell Wilson has lost a step, so it pretty much neutralizes him. I think eventually, even if they do start Russell initially, I think they're going to have to go to Justin because he can move around a little bit. They're going to be running for their lives, and I don't think Russell can do it anymore.
No, that's a valid point. Justin Fields is very – they're kind of the same guy, right? When Russell Wilson was younger, they're kind of the same guy. But Justin Fields is obviously a lot more mobile, and that's going to be an issue. Maybe they lean towards Justin Fields. But I just assumed in the offseason when they brought in Russell Wilson – he was QB1. Like, anyone else that they brought in would just be as a backup or to, maybe challenge him at camp. But he was the quarterback, but he really has not done anything in the preseason for them.
Russell has never had a good offensive line. It's unbelievable. Even Geno Smith got the line he's always wanted.
Yeah, right? Yeah, Russell Wilson leaves town and new look Seahawks up there in Seattle. All right, and finally, let's talk some baseball, Patrick, as we round things out. The Dodgers, a big 2-1 win on Sunday against the Cardinals. And it's kind of all coming together after a rough patch there for L.A. Ohtani hit his National League best 39th home run. Clayton Kershaw showing a flash of the old Kershaw, going 6 shutout innings against the Cards. So it's like, every team has a rough patch, but as we talked before, this time of the year matters the most. If you are just checking into the baseball season, right now is what matters. And the Dodgers, if they can figure it out right now after a little bit of a rough patch, things are going to be looking good. But with Ohtani and Kershaw looking how they're supposed to be looking like superstars, that's a very good sign for the Dodgers.
I think it's kind of like you said, baseball is the way it is. It's going to have ups and downs through the season. If you can kind of come out of this down and get this crappy play out of your system now, and then, like you said, right now, start making your run, they may be lining up just perfectly. I mean, the new center fielder, his name is escaping me right now. He's a huge spark. A pitcher has come in. Mookie's back.
Yeah.
I think I could see the Dodgers start to make things happen, man.
They could, and they need to. I mean, every team's got a rough patch. Nobody goes 162-0, and maybe they got that out of their system, a little up and down in July and into August. But now maybe they're going to figure it out. Guys are getting healthy, which is huge right now before that postseason run. And now they got a huge series coming up with the Seattle Mariners, Patrick.
Right. It is going to be huge. And we're another team who's been going through a rough patch. We can get blown out. Sometimes we can do well. Our bats go silent. Even though we have like the best pitching in the league, that could be a problem. That's one thing I noticed about the Dodgers is not all the bats go completely silent when it comes to the Dodgers. That's why I could see the Dodgers making their run. Very worried about my Mariners.
Well, Seattle's still writing it too, right? With the Houston Astros, the American League West is still up for grabs. Playoff spots still up for grabs. But when you look at the Dodgers, at least right now, they are in the driver's seat for the National League West. They can control their own destiny, but they've got to keep playing well.
I think these playoffs are going to be super exciting.
Yeah, it's wide open, and that's what makes it fun. Like, I don't know if there is a clear front runner. I know, the Yankees have a great record, Cleveland, the Dodgers, there's teams out there having great seasons, the Phillies, of course. But I don't know if there's a front runner. I think it's going to be a lot of fun in the postseason.
Quickly, just to circle back before we get out of here, did you see Caleb Williams this weekend? I know he had a little rough, and I know it's preseason, just like we talked about, but he looked like young Russell Wilson scrambling and Patrick Mahomes in one person. I'm a little excited to watch Caleb Williams this year.
I'll take that and add one. Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders. Both of those guys, the top 2 picks in the NFL draft, have looked every bit of the part. Both those guys have looked great in their limited time, small sample size in the preseason, but both of those guys have looked great.
One thing very funny, one thing you mentioned about Jaden Daniels is he went to slide and he didn't do very well, and he got up and looked at his coach, and his coach was like, "Get down." It was a very funny moment because Jaden was almost like got up and was like, I'm sorry. Like, because clearly that has been a thing. Get down, dude, or you're going to get hurt in this league.
Hey, beyond touchdowns and scoring drives, the biggest thing this preseason is come out healthy. That's the biggest thing.
Man, I can't wait. On Thursday, we'll have a lot to talk about with our guy, Pep. Tell him how to get your stuff.
Get it anytime, 24/7. It's Inland Sports Facebook, Inland Sports Instagram, Inland Sports Twitter. We also have the Inland Sports YouTube channel. So if you like guys like Jaden Daniels from the IE, come check us out. That's Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.